Is Crawford #1 pound for pound in the sport right now following his victory over Julius Ndongo? Pound for pound lists are very subjective. People's criteria can be vastly different in terms of how they rate certain fighters pound for pound. Some people will look at the fighter's career overall and take all of it into account. Some people will only take into account what a fighter's done over the past couple of years. So a pound for pound ranking is based on what you've done lately as much as what you've done on, during your whole career. Some people will base pound for pound on if you're a multi-weight world champion, regardless of the quality of the opposition that you fought to get those titles in those different weight divisions. Some people will base it on the manner of your victories. Forget about the results. They want to see you dominating people before they're going to put you on a pound for pound list. So this is why I don't tend to get into pound for pound lists or doing them very often. If I do pick one guy as pound for pound best in the sport, then that's what I'll tend to do. Just pick one guy, and I won't try and hash out a whole list of people who are, going to be on a pound for pound list. So, and on top of that, how do you bring heavyweights into the equation? Because at heavyweight, you've got massive differences in terms of size. If David Haye was to beat an Anthony Joshua, not saying that's ever going to happen, but if he was to beat an Anthony Joshua, he'd be giving away, like 25 pounds in weight? So that'd be the equivalent of what? A welterweight beating a middleweight? If you're talking about in terms of body proportion and whatnot, because obviously 25 pounds is a smaller percentage of a fighter's body weight at heavyweight than it is for a fighter's body weight at welterweight, if you get what I'm saying. So would David Haye or a small heavyweight deserve extra credit on the pound for pound list for beating a guy much bigger than him at heavyweight, who's the equivalent of 2 or 3 weight divisions bigger? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's such an abstract concept, pound for pound. You've got to take so many things into consideration. It's really difficult to judge these things. But if you were to pick a #1 pound for pound guy right now, the candidates will probably be, the main candidates that most people will be talking about would be Terence Crawford, Andre Ward, Gennady Golovkin, Canelo Alvarez. Those would be the main 4, I would imagine. Some people are going to bring in, other people maybe. I mean, Teddy Atlas has got Keith Thurman and Errol Spence in his top 10 pound for, I think in his top 5 pound for pound. He's got Keith Thurman and Errol Spence. I don't know what criteria Teddy Atlas is working with to have those 2 guys in his top 5 pound for pound. I don't know. But he has them there. And he's a veteran boxing commentator, a veteran boxing analyst, and a veteran boxing trainer. So go figure. But Terence Crawford right now, because he's undisputed champion, that definitely gives him a very, very good claim to be the best in boxing at the moment. Because he's consolidated all the belts. He's left no stone unturned. If you want a title shot, 140 pounds, there's only one guy to get a title shot from, and that's Terence Crawford. There's nowhere else to go. There are no other champions. He has all the belts. He's done it all. Totally cleaned up his division. There's nobody else to fight there. You have to go. He is the man in the division. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes. There's no ambiguity. There's nothing. Very few other fighters can say that in their divisions. We assume, or many people assume, I don't want to say me, that Andre Ward is the best at 175. He ain't beating Adonis Stevenson. Some people assume James DeGale's the best at 168. He ain't beat George Groves in a rematch. He ain't got the WBC belt. He's only got the IBF belt. He ain't got the WBO belt. He ain't fought Gilberto Ramirez. Many people believe that Gennady Golovkin is the best at middleweight. And I think he has a very, very good claim to being the best at middleweight. I believe he's the best at middleweight. But he ain't got the WBO belt. He hasn't fought Billy Joe Saunders. He's got this fight with Canelo. Canelo's not a champion, but Canelo did give up the WBC belt, which Golovkin currently has. He never fought Canelo for that belt. He tried to. Now I guess it's belatedly that time when he's going to fight for the legitimacy as WBC champion, although, you know, Canelo don't want to fight for the WBC belt and all that. But you get what I'm saying. He's fighting to find out whether he really is the man at middleweight when he fights Canelo. And then there'll only be Billy Joe Saunders left to fight after that to, you know, to consolidate and find out. But the point is, Golovkin still has a little bit more to do in his division to prove himself to be the best. And you move down to welterweight. Teddy Atlas has got the likes of Errol Spence and Keith Thurman on his pound-for-pound list. The welterweight division is wide open. Keith Thurman's got 2 belts. Errol Spence has got 1 belt. Jeff Horn's got 1 belt. You got 3 champions. So, you know, there's no clear top guy in the welterweight division at the moment. But one division where there is a clear top guy is 140 pounds. Terence Crawford. He's left no room for debate in his weight division. He's cleaned up. Now, people talk about the quality of opposition. I think the quality of opposition that Terence Crawford has been facing has been good. He hasn't been fighting Hall of Famers, but he's been fighting good fighters. Victor Postal, you know, on reflection, will probably be the best guy at that weight division that Terence Crawford has fought. Obviously, Terence Crawford is a multi-weight world champion. He fought Yuriorkis, Gamboa, so on and so forth. Gamboa, once upon a time, was good. But he's a smaller guy. In terms of the guys who are natural 140-pounders, Victor Postal's the best guy that Terence Crawford beat. It would seem at the moment. Julius Ndongo, I believe, was a good fighter. I don't buy all this stuff that people are coming out with, that Ndongo's garbage. And I don't buy all that. I think Ndongo's a solid fighter, but he was in there with someone extraordinary in Terence Crawford. If Crawford, you know, I think he's got a very good case of being pound for pound #1 right now. But if he's to go on and be a legitimate Hall of Famer, all-time great, who's going to be talked about in the same vein as Floyd Mayweather and, you know, Sugar Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali, Marvin Hagler, you know, Sugar Ray Leonard, the greats of the past, if he's to go on and be that level of fighter and have that level of legacy, then he's going to need to fight other guys who have got Hall of Fame careers. And that's going to take moving up to welterweight to do that. Probably. Marvin Hagler stayed at one weight division for his whole career. Middleweight. But he had guys like Tommy Hearns and Roberto Duran move up to fight him. Hall of Famers. Is there any Hall of Famers who are going to move up to 140 pounds to fight Terence Crawford? None that I can see at the moment. There's the potential for Mikey Garcia maybe against Terence Crawford, but Mikey Garcia looks very good. Is he a Hall of Famer at this stage? Probably not quite there yet, but that's potential if Terence Crawford wanted to stay at 140. If he was able to beat Mikey Garcia, and they fought in the amateurs apparently. So that's a potential legacy-making fight if he fought Garcia. A lot of people would like to see that. I'd like to see it. But if he moved up to welterweight, that's where it really gets tasty. That's where the likes of Keith Thurman and Errol Spence are. You know, and I'm going to do separate videos about how I think Bud Crawford would do against the likes of Keith Thurman and Errol Spence. Because they're two very different fighters with different skill sets, different types of ability, and different dangers, different weaknesses for a fighter to think about, for an opponent to think about. So I'll do separate videos about those potential fights. But that's where I think Terence Crawford's defining fights will be in his career at welterweight. And Terence Crawford is a big guy. You know, I have mentioned this in previous videos. He's not a small guy. I remember seeing a picture of him with Mayweather and he looked bigger than Mayweather. And this is when Terence Crawford was a lightweight and Mayweather was obviously fighting at welterweight. And Crawford looked bigger than him. So this is a big guy. I remember even, I'm sure some of his lightweight fights, or maybe it was his 140-pound fights, where he was coming into the ring over 150 pounds. So when he moves up to welterweight, you know, he might be coming in the 160s. When he moves up to welterweight. So he's a decent sized fighter. Don't think of him as being, you know, too small. Because he's got a wiry frame, he's been filling out, putting more muscle on his wiry frame naturally. As you fill out, he's in his late 20s now. I think he's 28, 29. So he's going to put on a bit more muscle now naturally and fill out. So, yeah, those are my musings and my thoughts on Terence Crawford, his legacy moving forward. Is he number one pound for pound? Again, I don't really do pound for pound lists, but I can't see how, if you do do a pound for pound list, I can't see how Terence Crawford wouldn't be at least in your top 10 and more realistically, at least in your top 5. I would find it difficult to understand if you don't have Terence Crawford in your top 5 pound for pound. And he's got a very, very good stake, you know, very, very good claim to be the number one. Let me know how you feel in the comment section below. I want to hear you guys go into detail and explain to me, give me your pound for pound list and explain to me why each guy is on the list. I'm going to read these comments, you know, because I'm interested to find out exactly what your criteria is for doing a pound for pound list and why you've got certain guys in certain positions. All right. So do that in the comment section below. Very interested to read those kind of lists and those kind of explanations. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you click the notification bell below this video to receive alerts for all my future uploads. It should be right next to the subscribe button. Make sure you click that if you ain't done so before. And also check out this selection of 4 other videos which I recorded recently, which you might not have seen before. So go click on those if you ain't watched them previously. And yeah, thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up, or if you dislike the video, give me a thumbs down. Favorite the video, share the video, do something. Thank you very, very much for watching. It's Hatman, I'm out.